What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery is my channel, and what I do here is I break down the occult sciences to a very practical level so that you can use them and apply them and understand them in your day-to-day life and get real actual results from absorbing all of this information. Okay, my name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I'm a professional occultist. I'm fully initiated in Kabbalah. I'm studied with the tarot, and I'm also studied with astrology. That's just to give you a little bit of clarity on who I am. So what we're going to be talking about in today's video is something that, I think needs to be understood. I think a lot of people have this similar question, and I think it's going to be very powerful for me to upload a video on this subject. And I really want to give clarity to this subject, okay? I want it to be authentic. I want people to understand the ancient truth behind this subject, and I want to erase the false connotations that may be attached to this subject. So for those of you that are watching, they're like, okay, what's the subject? What's the subject? The subject is, what exactly is a demon? Okay, what exactly is a demon? Okay, so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm literally going to break down what exactly a demon is. I'm going to explain what they're attracted to. I'm going to explain how you can use them. I'm going to explain how you can gain mastery over them. Not in a way that they're like, they're bad or they're evil, but in a way that you can use them to your benefit. And I'm going to explain the ancient root word of where this term demon even came from. And I'm going to go into a little bit of depth of how the ancients viewed the demon, okay, and what they called it, okay, because they didn't necessarily call it demons, okay? It's fascinating. So if you want to know a little bit more about what exactly a demon is, then stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so jumping right into this subject. Okay, so a demon. Okay, first thing that I want to say, and first thing that I want to make clear, is that the word demon used to translate to the word daemon, and this was a translation that happened to the Greeks. So we had the Greeks who were ancient, and they came up with this word daemon. And daemon referred to good spirit, okay? You can even look all this information up. So the Greeks came up with this word daemon, and that once again translated to good spirit. Then we had this whole transition of spiritual power where there was the Catholic religion that started to get introduced to, you could say, a culture, and they took that word daemon because, there was a battle between the Greeks and the Romans, and within the Roman Empire, there rose the Catholic religion, which was the religion under one God, because they were trying to control that, you could almost say, culture with one spiritual belief system, which actually did play its evolutionary role and did have importance to it at the time. And it was very successful. So what they did is they took the word daemon after they conquered the Greeks, and then they translated, they changed it to demon. And the Catholics, the priests of that religion, changed the connotation of daemon, meaning good spirit, and they changed it to the word demon, which ended up standing for evil spirit, okay? Spirit that wants to harm you and will take your soul to hell. And the main reason why they did that is because they tried to, as I said, introduce a completely new religion since they conquered the Greeks, since the Romans conquered the Greeks, okay? So this is where we get our term demon from in today's society. So obviously the religion of the Catholic religion has lasted a long time. And stemming from the Catholic religion, now we have Christianity, and that is the primary religion in our today's society as of right now, which will eventually change over time. Will take some years, but it will change. So that is exactly what it is. Okay, that's where that word came from. So if we take it back to its most ancient root, it literally meant good spirit. Now, what you want to know about demons is that they are ancient and they are inorganic beings. Now, what exactly does that mean? Organic is earthly. It is earthbound, okay? It's something that stemmed from earth, okay? Now, inorganic is something that isn't necessarily earthly, okay? It can be outside of earth, meaning it can have life outside of earth. It's something foreign to the natural order of earth's life force, you could almost say. So that's what demons are. Demons are primarily inorganic beings that actually can resonate with organic properties, but they are in their totality inorganic beings, which tells us that they are created outside of Earth, meaning they're coming from the dark matter energy space of the galaxy or of the solar system, somewhere in space, okay, which a lot of us can refer to as the abyss. The abyss is a place in the astral, and it's just it's symbolic of dark matter energy. Okay, it's so vast, and there's so much chaos, and there's, as I said, so much dark matter energy that a lot of things can come out of the abyss. And for us to fully unpack and fully understand what exactly the abyss is almost impossible to the human consciousness because it's so broad and it's so vast. So what we can take, though, is that a lot of these demons, and there is a lot of demons, okay, which once again translate to daemons, which was good spirits. A lot of these spirits reside from that dark matter energy space known as the abyss. And in their totality, they are inorganic beings, meaning we, in our human understanding, don't necessarily understand how they came about and how exactly they came to life. But on a very deep spiritual level, we can actually resonate with these beings because as humans ourselves, we are actually partially inorganic as well. And just to give you a little bit of an example of how this is manifesting microcosmically is, you go to the market and you have organic foods, and then obviously there's other options. There's actually more options that are inorganic, which means GMOs, genetically modified foods, okay? Genetically modified. They're modified under scientific intention, okay? They're genetically modified, and it's intentful to modify. It's taking it away from the natural order of how this food came into being, which is inorganic. Now, it doesn't mean that inorganic is bad, inorganic is good. You actually need a balance of both, okay? It's just the nature of Earth. Now, obviously, everything that is connected to Earth and everything that stems from Earth, like plants specifically, animals that are earthly, these are all organic life forms, okay? They're organic. But then once again, something inorganic could be genetic manipulation, okay? Like, let's say you had an animal and you're trying to breed it with something else. Let's say we got to a level of technology where we were able to take genetic codes and splice them and put them in with other animals. So let's say, for example, you had a dog and you had a cat, and you somehow put their genetic codes and interlinked them together so that it created an offspring of a literal dog-cat type of hybrid animal. That would be, in a sense, an inorganic creature because a human or an intelligence created it. Okay, created it against the natural order of organic evolution, which is earthly. Now, once again, is that wrong? No. Is it right? No. It just is, okay? And the reality is we're moving into a time in our human evolutionary process where we are going to start seeing a lot of this technology be used, where there is going to be a lot of genetic studies. There's going to be a lot of genetic types of technology that's going to come to the surface, where we're going to see doctors start to focus on genetic manipulation, which is going to bring in more inorganic energy to the mass collective in general. Okay, so it's important to understand that. Now, taking it back to demons, I don't want to make this video too long, one, because my battery's going to die soon, so I'm going to see if I can wrap it up quick here. So the thing is that to understand demons, you have to understand they're inorganic, okay? They were created by some other intelligence that is outside of most of the human understanding. And to get to the very root of it, it will take a lot of in-depth thinking, and it will take a lot of, you could almost say, meditation to really unpack that. You know, I've gotten kind of close, like I figured out a general idea. I know that there's spirits that exist outside of Earth and they are their own energetic intelligence, and I know specific spirits that play a major role in creating what's known as demons from their own energetic power. But I'm not going to go into that in too much depth in this video. That's not really what I want to cover. I really want to break down the context of what a demon exactly is. So what we can take so far is that they're inorganic beings, meaning they're not bound to Earth, they're not necessarily from Earth, but they like to interact with Earth. You could think of it as these inorganic beings that feed on organic life force. So one thing that demons feed on, and one thing that they're attracted to by their nature, the way that they were created, something that pulls them in is emotions, okay? Specific, powerful, and strong emotions, usually along the lines of the more negative polarity of emotions. And the reason why is because the negative polarity of emotions usually is a lot more potent than the positive polarity. So for example, if you have a lot of stress, if you have a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, that is definitely, or anger, you could even say anger. Hold on one second. That's my steak. Or anger. Oh my God. There we go. Okay, so or anger, they're attracted to those emotions, meaning they want that energetic charge. Remember, they're dark matter energy beings in their totality, so they feed on that level of dark matter energy emotion that we produce as human beings, as organic human beings. So, with that being said, you attract demons in, these types of spirits, by emanating these emotions. Now, there's some people that are afraid of that. They're like, oh my God, then I don't ever, I'm gonna do everything I can to not feel that. And you know, I'm afraid of demons. Like, this is freaking me out. I don't want to ever be scared. I don't want to have anxiety. I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to emanate these emotions to attract them to me. But this is the thing. It's like, it just is a part of their nature. That's what they're attracted to. There is nothing you can do about it to prevent them from coming into your life, okay? This is a reality, okay? These are very powerful and plentiful spirits. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of them, and they are very eminent in our day-to-day life just because of the natural emotional states that we get into as human beings. I mean, you're going to experience fear, you're going to experience pain, you're going to experience anxiety. These are normal emotions. So we should understand that it's normal to have demon spirits come into our lives and try to connect with us, okay? It is actually a normal process. Once again, what we need to do is erase this idea of demon being an evil spirit, and we need to replace it with the word daemon being a good spirit. So the reality is yes, they're gonna come to you in your lowest states, okay? Demons will naturally be attracted to you when you're emanating these lower polarity emotions, but then to gain mastery over demons is to gain mastery over your emotional state. So to become the observer, to become more in alignment with your mental and be aware of your emotional states, what you now do on one end is you're raising your power, and demons naturally serve power. All spirits actually serve power. So the more powerful you become, the more of an observer you become, the more you master your emotional states and don't let them control you, the more you're going to have mastery over other spiritual intelligences, and you're going to have more of an effect and more of an influence on your day-to-day life coming from your intentions. But taking it back to demons specifically, the more you master fear, the more you master anxiety, the more you master experiencing pain and anger and things like that, meaning they come to the surface, you feel them, and that may attract the spirit towards you, but then you're the observer. And you're like, okay, I'm feeling this, but I'm not gonna let it ride out, right? I'm not gonna let it control me. What that does is that gains mastery over the demon spirits. That gains mastery over the spiritual intelligence that's known as a demon. And it's because you learned how to master your emotional state, so you've attracted it to you, and since you're not letting the emotion move you, since you're the observer, and since you're able to begin to take mastery over your emotions, you're now able to use the demon that you've now attracted to you And based off, once again, your intent, you can say, okay, this is what I'm intending to happen. So for example, someone comes in your path and they piss you off, your anger rises, right? Instead of being like, you fucking blah, 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 and freaking out, letting the emotion take control of you, you become the observer. The natural demons are going to be attracted to that anger. So certain ones will come out, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, who knows how many, but they will come and it will be attracted to you. And now that you're the observer and your intent is focused and you're still calm and you're still, you know, in that state of trying to understand rather than just trying to exert your anger, that demon is now going to follow your intention. So let's say if someone pissed you off and that anger rises, you attract the spirit to you, and now off your intention, you're like, yo, I hope something bad happens to that person. I'm not gonna freak out, I'm not gonna lose my temper, but I just hope something bad happens to that person. That's your intention now. I hope something bad is gonna happen. So now that demon that was now attracted to you is going to act on what your intention is, because it recognizes that you've mastered your emotional state. And if the demons, by their nature, feed off of emotional states, when you gain mastery over your emotions, energies in motion, you're gaining mastery over demonic forces. You're gaining mastery over what's known as the spirit of a demon. So now it has to serve what your intention is saying, because you just attracted it to you, and now it wants to go and do your bidding in regards to your intent. Because if you're not getting triggered out, then you're in control of your emotional state. You're also in control of your energetic frequency. You're in control of your energetic field, and you're more tapped into your subconscious mind, and you're more locked in with the subconscious, meaning you're in a state of power. And once again, let's say you did lose your temper, okay? You lose your temper, you lash out. Well, you're attracting that demon to you, and by its nature, with you losing your temper, that demon is going to take in that energy that you're like not able to be aware of, that you're just acting out on. So you're just acting out, and now that demon's taking in and feeding off of that energy, and it's using it. Okay, it's just a part of the process. It's using the energy. Okay, it's gonna take that. It's gonna take all that anger you're feeling. It's gonna use it. Okay, and then it may go about its own way. Now, when you approach demons from an evolutionary standpoint, trying to learn and trying to improve yourself, your intention is interacting with that spirit. And when your intention interacts with a demon, you're going to invite situations in your life that are going to provoke these emotional outbursts, whatever they are and however that manifests. But the demon it has to obey your intention to a certain degree. So if you're approaching it from an evolutionary standpoint, you may, in the beginning times of working with these spirits, you may have lash outs. I mean, I know from my path, I definitely did. You're not gonna just be the observer overnight. It takes a lot of trial, a lot of error, a lot of challenge, a lot of burnout, all these things. But as I'm saying, when your intention interacts with that spirit, it now has to teach you. So although it may come across your path and almost set up a situation where you lash out, it's not only just gonna feed off of that energy and then leave, it's gonna teach you what you could have done different next time and how to gain mastery over your emotions to then gain mastery over the spirit known as the demon. And when you gain mastery over your emotions and you gain mastery of the observer state, then the demons become some of your best allies. They become these spirits that are always, one, protecting you, always looking out for your best interest, because that's what your intention is doing. And you've gained the level of power to allow that to happen. Okay, it's a part of the process. As you gain power, you open up awareness, you open up your body, your energetic field for more emanation. You become a force of nature that has to be respected in the astral plane. And once again, when you get to that point, these demons, however many there are, and there's tons, but I work with the main ones that we can understand here on Earth, which come from the Ars Goetia, 72 Ars Goetia. although there's many other ones, but I work, as I said, specifically with those ones. So I'm aware of those ones, but there's probably so many other ones that are interacting with my day-to-day life that I don't even know about. But, you know, consciously I'm working with the Ars Goetia, and, you know, as I said, the more you develop your power, the more they work on your behalf. They do things in alignment with your intention. If you get to a certain place in your own self-development where your intention is always in alignment and your intention is always on what is in your best interest, that's what they're going to do for you. So they become literally your greatest allies, and they take care of problems for you. They make sure you get the higher polarity of whatever situations it may be. For example, let's say you go to a theme park and you have one ride that you really want to go on, right? It's like your favorite ride. And you get there, you wait in line, you go on the ride, and you wait in line for like hours, and you finally get on the ride, and then you get off of it, and then next thing you know, right after you get off, after you went on the ride, then it breaks down. So you get the higher polarity of everything. You just made it right before it broke down. You're not getting the lower end. You're not that person that's next in line that's like, oh, I just waited 3 hours and now the ride broke down. Now I gotta wait another like 2 hours for it to fix itself. This is what happens when you gain mastery over your emotional state, become the observer, and then gain mastery over demons, which once again was broken down to the Greeks by daemons and meant good spirits, because the more you develop yourself, the more you gain mastery, you are now working with good spirits. They are helping you. They're your allies. And the ancients used to literally call them the allies. Okay, they literally called them the allies. But although in the beginning times when working with these spirits, there are going to be profound challenges. There are going to be things that trigger you, like these demons themselves. If you have the intention of working with them from an evolutionary perspective, they will bring challenge in your life to trigger you out and to even burn you out, so that you recognize more and more and more how to become the observer, how to let go of certain things that you're attached to, certain mental barriers and things in that nature. They are literally some of your best spiritual allies, literally. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I want to wrap it up as. You know, I mean, this is something I apply in my life. It totally works. Like, demons work, you know, they work for me, you know, like as I work on myself and I develop myself, they work for me even more. So the more I'm in alignment, the more they serve me. Okay, and this is just the level of development I got to, but I had to approach them from the evolutionary perspective, and I had to do disciplined evocation and invocation, where I called on these specific spirits using specific techniques, like using a sigil, which is a gateway to open up that energy, and then also using mantra, which is a certain vibration to call on that force to me. Also, most importantly, interacting with my intention of trying to evolve, and also recognizing and being receptive that these are real spiritual forces that can cause an impact. And I'm telling you, when you start working with them, you will see how real that is, as long as you're coming from the right intention and the right perspective. With that being said, I'm gonna leave it here. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. Also, hit the notification bell right down there. Hit the subscribe button, because I love to see my subscribers go all the way through the roof. And definitely make sure you drop down in the description and you see that very first link at the top. That's going to be my Patreon right there. Now, what you can do on my Patreon is gain access to exclusive content that I do not upload to my YouTube channel. So for example, some of this content in direct connection to this video, I have actual spiritual practices that I perform on camera so that you can watch me do it. And then I teach you step by step how to do it yourself. For example, how to do an invocation, which literally means calling a spiritual intelligence, like a demon, like an angel, whatever else kind of spirit it may be. You're calling on a spiritual intelligence that is actually outside of yourself, to come into your own energy field, to come into your body and integrate that spirit's power, that spirit's intelligence and everything it knows into your own energy field, so that it becomes a part of yourself, okay? So that you can gain all its knowledge, its wisdom, and its energy, essentially. And once again, that's known as an invocation. And what that does is that increases your psychic influence, that increases your psychic power, and that increases your psychic protection, okay? So There's videos on my Patreon that are in that kind of nature. And then the other bit of the content is going to be geared towards what I like to call educational entertainment. So educational entertainment in my mind is a video that's very similar to this, where the video is entertaining. You could just pop your AirPods on, your headphones, whatever it is, go about your day, go for a bike ride, go for a walk, go for a run, hit the gym, ride in your car, whatever it may be. And you're listening to content that is extremely valuable. You know, there's a lot of value behind, you know, what you're hearing. So that in itself is relaxing. You know, you don't have to resist anything. You can just absorb it all, and it's gonna add value to your life. So this is the kind of content that I have on my Patreon now. In order to gain access to these exclusive videos, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. In order to be a tier 2, it literally costs $9.95 a month, and that is a reoccurring payment. But if you do the math, that literally will come out to less than $1 a day. So there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that, especially with the value I have on there. If you can't afford it with the value I have on there, then I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, with that being said, there's 4 tiers altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you go higher in tiers, the benefits increase as well. So I'll let you check that out for yourself. And rolling right off of that, I would love to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned right below that Patreon link in the description. So huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Your support and your hard work does not go unnoticed. And then I want to give a second shout out to all of my Patreon members. I appreciate all of you. And then a final shout out to all my followers on YouTube. I love and appreciate all of you as well. Okay? Now, next thing I want you to do is go down, check out the second link below. If you would like to book a tarot reading with me, a personalized tarot reading that can give you a lot of knowledge on where you're located at in your own personal spiritual journey, and I also connect it back to Kabbalah as well, then you can book that in the second link below. It says Square Appointments. You can literally click that. In order to book an appointment, it costs $40. And the way that I do it is I break down 3 cards. The first one stands for the present, the second one stands for the near future, and then the third one stands for long-term future. Okay, so especially if your first card has a Hebrew letter on it, then I'm literally probably going to be able to tell you exactly where you're located at on the Tree of Life. So far from all the readings I've done, I haven't had one yet where I wasn't able to locate where somebody's at, literally in regards to the Kabbalah Tree of Life, where they're located in their own personal spiritual journey. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from my readings, and so far everything's been very good. So the way I do my readings is very different than probably most tarot card readers. I don't do it from a traditional perspective, since I'm fully initiated in Kabbalah and I have a lot of understanding of symbolism and planetary energies and things in that nature. I give a completely subjective reading. So I'm literally breaking down all the symbolism that the card is telling me, and at the same time that I'm doing that, I'm telling you to connect this back to yourself. So what are you resonating with in the way that I'm breaking down this card, and how is this relating to where you're at right now, or where your near future feels like it could be headed, or where your long term is going? Okay, so I do that. I break it all the way down to the elements, and even the zodiac sign and things in that nature. So it's really, it's really a different kind of reading. You probably have never seen it done like that before, and that's just how I do it. And I'm also, one of the big things that I'm also doing is breaking down what my spirit is telling me to tell you. So as I'm reading the card, if my spirit tells me I need to say something to you that most likely I don't have any logic on, like it's just something that I need to tell you, then I'm not holding back on these readings. I'm telling you exactly how it needs to be. I'm not sugarcoating anything. You're getting exactly what you need to hear, okay? And the whole purpose is to help you get more clarity on where you're headed and where you're located, and could potentially give you some more inspiration to keep moving forward. So once again, you're gonna be able to find the ability to book that appointment in the second link below. And that's gonna wrap it up. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Once again, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. So, peace.